Hi everyone, Agnes here. Now in this video, what I'm going to do is go through what I did to heal my lower back injury. Now, what I'm going to do in this YouTube is go through what happened, how I injured my back, and also the steps I took to heal it without drugs or surgery. Okay, so I was at work. I was working in retail and part of homewares retail, lifting boxes, moving furniture, doing big displays. And on this particular day, I was working with someone who, well, two someones who were very small, very weak, and not very good to have as assistants to do the job I had to do that day. And in my anger and frustration at who they had sent me to help me on this particular day for this particular job, I lifted something when I was angry from the ground. It was a long kind of table buffet console-y thing. I was at one end, this one little skinny, not very strong person at the other end. And as we lifted up this thing, I took the weight of it and I injured my lower back. So yeah, lifting things when you're angry is never a good idea. I didn't put two and two together that day, and it ended up coming back and biting me on the lower back, so to speak. So what I did, I decided that I did not want to take drugs. I did not want to have surgery after going to the doctor, and they gave me an assessment. It was suggested that I could not do my job and I would have to be assessed every 3 months to see if I could go back to work, because the doctor said there are no light duties in the industry you're in. So if there had been light duties, I could have gone back as my back was improving, but my job was moving furniture, lifting heavy things, and also unpacking big boxes and stuff. So what did I do to recover? Firstly, I want to say this. Lower back, when you look at the Louise Hay Heal Your Body book, talks about support. The upper back, middle back, lower back, the back is support. So lower back mentions a fear of not enough money, a fear of financial, well, just insecurity around finances, which was definitely the case for me. And I was working too much for long hours, and I was not able to look after my health the way I would have liked to. And in that industry at that time in Sydney, Australia, it was almost a badge of honor to keep pushing and work long hours and really exhaust yourself. So my recovery. I had an app that the doctor had prescribed for me. And I just want to say too, when I went to the doctor, every time I went, doctors were hesitant to take me on because they needed to report to the insurance company for my income protection insurance to then be able to see if I would be able to be paid. So my income protection insurance, thank goodness, was a blessing because I really needed it, because I went from having money to no money. And also I went to about 4 doctors at that time before one doctor was actually compassionate enough to take this on, knowing they would have to fill in paperwork and liaise with this particular income protection insurance company, which was extra work for a doctor, okay? And that's why the first 3 said, no, we're not going to take this on. So I kept visualizing that I had the best doctor that looked after me and we had a good relationship. I was affirming that. Now, recovery, physio 45 minutes a day to strengthen the lower back. Now, the requirement from the doctor to do the paperwork was that I did my bit, which of course I did because I wanted to release myself from the lower back pain. So I strengthened the lower back by doing this physio, which I really enjoyed. And I also went to see a physio in person once a week. At the beginning, it was a couple of times a week. Now, I did a balance of walking and resting. Too much resting would lock the back up. Too much walking would start to make it sore. So it was finding the balance between those two things. I did a lot of juicing, vegetables, fruits, and I drank lots of water to keep the body as clear as I could. Vitamin D, vitamin E, calcium and magnesium were the supplements that I took. And I had to wean myself off sleeping on my stomach and my sides and learn to sleep on my back, which for me was really hard because I was never a back sleeper, and still to this day I don't like it, yet I know it is the best position for sleep because your spine, your lower back is all straight and relaxed, whereas when you're on your side, your shoulders are all bent in, your knees go together, and it's better with a pillow in the middle. So you got to make all these adjustments if you have an injury like that. And the back position is one that is really the best for relaxing and recovery of the lower back. Okay? Now, I also wrote out letters of resentment, especially around money, to different people. Did I post them? No, it was for me to clear my negative emotion. Okay, past employers, past bosses, past, I was working as a subcontractor some of the time, so people wouldn't pay invoices quickly, which meant I was, short of money. So I had a lot of anger and resentment, and it went down to my lower back. Okay, I did fasting as well, and I learnt, which is something that is obvious, but I obviously didn't do it on the day I injured myself, lift with your legs, not with your back. So use your arms and use your legs, your thighs to carry the weight. So I've made sure since that time that I, if I have to lift anything, which I don't really these days because I'm sitting in an office chair and I am not working in that industry anymore, but anything I do for my own personal self, I make sure I do that. Okay, now, what else? There is a wonderful interview that I did some time ago where someone asked me specific questions about healing my back, and also that I healed myself of a tumor in my 20s. Okay, so I will put that interview up here next to my head so that you can listen to it if you want to go and listen about more detail, because Yvonne, who interviews me, asks some wonderful questions. And also, I wanted to mention a new book. Now, this, I think, would have been a great book for me to read at the time that I injured myself. And it is from a woman called Sheridan Stewart. I will put the link down below in the description for you. She's written a book called I Have Enough, I Do Enough, I Am Enough. Thank you, Martine, for mentioning this to me. I think it is a lovely book for those of you that feel exhausted, that have injuries, that have sicknesses, that have things that will not go away, and you are discouraged and you would like some help. Okay? Now, also for recovery, Brandon Bays, I've mentioned her many times. She is an amazing woman who healed herself of a very big tumor, and she did it in 6 weeks. And also, there is a health playlist that is on this channel. There are success stories of recovery. There are also health meditations. I will put both of those playlists down below for you in the description. Okay, so let me know what you think in the thread, as in, where are you at with the things you're working on? How are you going with it? And how do you feel you have been treated, perhaps by doctors, by the medical profession, by people around you? And also, have you found some things that have worked extremely well for you? Please share them down below, because I think, there's been a lot of conversations in the last few weeks with me and other people around not being able to trust first opinions about things, and also really struggling with wondering if the information you're getting is actually for your best interest and your best care. So let me know where you're at. All right. Lots of love, everyone. I'll see you in the next YouTube.